I wanted to chat to you this time about stress, something that we should explore and that we should understand. So here's how it goes. I could be sitting at my desk and you could walk into my room and abuse me, or you could say something really humiliating or nasty or hurtful. I'll call that an event. What happens next is my response to that event. Now, I can look at what you've said and I can feel really offended. I can feel really hurt. I can feel really angry. And then that can send me into a downward spiral where I feel distressed, I feel upset, and I feel stressed. And I might even want to react in some way. So there was the action of what you did, and then there's my response. And the thing that we get confused about is that our response has actually got nothing to do with the event. The response occurs in our own universe. And the response that we have depends completely on our perspective of that event. So as we travel through life, we come across people, we come across situations, events, circumstances, all sorts of things that we can respond to. People who are trying to lose weight, for example, when really delicious food gets put in front of them, they try to change their response to it. And instead of being completely overwhelmed by it and indulging, they choose a response of maybe, I can't have that today, or that's not good for me, or I can't have that yet. So they're trying to take command over their response. Now, the same thing goes for us in life. If we want to live a life that is free of stress, then we need to start getting really good at looking at our response to things and not allowing ourselves to respond automatically. Now, that's a huge challenge because for a start, we're human beings and we've all got minds and we've all got beliefs and we've all got a past. So sometimes choosing to respond differently takes a lot of work and a lot of patience with ourselves, and we are going to mess up from time to time. But you see, this is where we can help each other now. Because, for example, I might be sitting there feeling really stressed about what you said to me, and I could be starting to go into a meltdown. And then somebody else comes in and says, "What happened, John?" And I'll say, "Well, look what this person just did. This is what they said. It was really unfair." And then the person might say to me, "Okay, so how are you viewing that?" And I might say, "What do you mean? They terrible person. They shouldn't have done that." And they say, "Okay, well, that's one way of viewing it. What's another way you could view it?" And eventually we might get to the point where I might realize, I might choose to view that this is a person who just walked into my office, who's overwhelmed, completely distressed, had lost sense of what they're doing, and they've just started lashing out at people. And it wasn't personal, it was just someone lashing out. And see, if I can arrive at that viewpoint, well, then I could probably almost shift my response from one of stress to one of understanding and maybe even compassion. And you see, when you really look at it in this world, there's not much happening that is really a threat to your existence. Okay, for sure, COVID has caused some people to get very sick and lose their lives. But outside of that, we live in pretty safe times. And because our survival is not really being threatened, everything else, we can get better at choosing how we view it so that we can have a different and less debilitating response. So get good at that. But please don't go up to your friend and say, "Don't view it that way," because that doesn't work either. Let's sit down next to each other, side by side, and get interested. How are you viewing that? And how else could you view it? And keep going with all different types of viewpoints until the person can disconnect from the circumstance or the event and feel okay and change their response. Wish you all the best. Take care of yourselves out there and take care of each other.